So mom went and talked to the head coach herself, and she just straight up and just asked. And I have to commend the coaches too, because they didn't sugarcoat anything. They just told her straight up. And so when she asked, she was like, "Coach, like, we're here for like the academics, blah blah blah, because like he got accepted, so we're here to our school. But I have to hear from you." And she asked, she's like, "Does my son still have a full scholarship?" And when she asked that,
offer.
Oh yeah, full offer, athletic offer. And when she asked that, he answered. He was like, no, he doesn't, not anymore, because I didn't sign for the early signing period. So because of that, they took the scholarship offer the money that they would offer me, they took that and added it towards the athletic facilities and the university and stuff like that. So when mom found that out, that's kind of where the tension in the family came in, because mom
Ain't no count.
That's where it came in, because mom she had felt like it was dad's fault, because like I was on board, mom was on board, everybody was on board, but dad wasn't. She felt like, okay, like we missed this opportunity because of you, and we didn't know what you were thinking, he didn't know what you were thinking, he's trying to make you happy, blah blah blah. So that's where the tension that came in at. And I just remember like looking at this, and I'm like, okay, like, all right, now what? And I remember me and mom were in the kitchen one day, and this is like around December-ish, and she asked me, she was like, because I could tell she was nervous, and I could tell it was weighing on my dad. And I've never seen that before with my dad. Like usually if something goes on, like he's even keeled, like you can't really tell what he's thinking. But I could tell it was weighing on dad for sure.
Before you get there, because what I did was, while I was still on campus, after I talked to the coach, I called you, right?
Yeah.
Didn't I call? You weren't in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I went back to my car, and y'all, I was in tears. I was like, oh my goodness. So I called my husband, and I told him that I had just talked to the coach, and that because he did not sign, that he lost that offer. So now we're back to square one, and we have no athletic offers. And I'm sure I let you know how I felt about it.
Yes, you did.
I did. I let him know how I felt about it.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
And so, and again, remember the dynamics of everything, because of the time and the period that the nation was in.
When we weren't in there yet.
We was right at it. It was like
it was 2019.
Right.
Even early 2020, we weren't there yet. That didn't happen until like March, April.
And what had taken place, well, with everything that was taking place there, I recall, it was right before. No. Well, no, I didn't. Now, my thing was, I knew that the anger was. I was. Of course, I was bothered, because you have no control over none of this.
Okay.
And so, and here's why I explained what took place. So I'm sitting here thinking, and of course, I talked with his coach, and his coach really gave the coach to that college, gave him a call and gave him a rundown, because his coach, his high school coach, felt like it was a reason that decision was made. So, nevertheless, with all that said and done, the opportunity was missed, because I didn't just flat out say, yeah, go. Okay. And so with that said, I'll never forget.
Okay.
I'll never forget this. We were in the state semifinal.
Oh, hold on, wait to that.
Wait.
I don't know what you're finna say. Wait to that part.
Oh, y'all, I'm sorry this video's so long, but we just talking.
It's gonna get good.
So like I said, it was so much tension too, because this was mid-school year, this was mid-season, basketball season for like high school, middle school, college and all that. So with that, a lot of coaches aren't really recruiting during that time, because they're in their own season as well. So they're prepping for games and working out and all that. So that's why it was so much tension as well, because it's like, now what, pretty much. And I remember me and mom were in the kitchen one day, like I said, this was late December, and me and her were just talking, and she asked me, she was like, are you nervous? She's like, 'cause like you don't, she's like, we just don't know what's gonna happen right now. We have one, but we don't have one anymore.
I'm glad he remembered all
She's
this.
like, are you nervous? And I remember I just looked, and I was like, no. And it kind of caught off guard, and I was like, nah, that just means that God has something better for me, honestly. And I was like, the way I looked at it, I was like, it can either be a test that God has given me. It can be I was like, it's either one or two things. God is saying, when you're confident, when you're sure about something, move on it. Because like I said, we were confident and sure about this school, but we didn't act on it. Or he was saying, like, although you may be ready for something, like, although you may want something, I have something better for you. So I was like, okay, like, I know I'm going to continue to put in the work and do my workouts like I'm supposed to. Like, nobody has to tell me to do that. I'm going to keep doing that. And I was like, and then, like, I'm going to just leave the rest up to God. Like, I can't control any of that, so I'm going to just let him do what he does. And like I said, I just remember talking to her about that, and I even look at it now, like even today, and I'm like, just the confidence that I had, like that God was gonna make a way, was just like, the most confidence I've ever had with in a situation. I was like, I feel like that's probably like one of my growth moments, just for like my faith, but just in general in life as well, because like we literally had no idea what was gonna happen.
And another thing too, that even in him knowing that we knew he would get an athletic scholarship, he didn't want to be far away from home.
At all.
So this was, we had visited another college that was about 4 hours away.
Oh my God!
That was the most.
That was a nightmare.
It's like God said, no.
Listen, that was a clear sign from God. He was like, you don't have to worry about anything. That's a no.
Absolutely.
That's an absolute
We like 4 hours away. The truck broke down. It's at nighttime. Nobody is there.
We got there like 10 in the morning, something like that. We were about to leave at 3. The truck broke down. We didn't leave till 1 in the morning the next day.
We were sitting in the parking lot. And make it so bad now. This place.
That's our place.
This place was nothing. There was nothing around.
We can't get off that. That's
When I
all.
say guys,
Clear sign.
oh my goodness.
So my point I was trying to make is that our choices to a certain extent were limited because he knew he didn't want to go far away. We didn't want him to be too far. So the college that had made that offer, they weren't far away. So it's like, okay, here we go.
But then, here's where this thing really made a turn, because really, guys, I can't express. You know how you have that silent tension. No one is saying anything to one another. Answers are short, but you can feel, you can cut it with a knife. It's so thick in the air, and you like, and address the elephant in the room. We're gonna have to get with this. You got to keep your composure, because if not, one little match just could have completely boom. And so I would never forget when this thing took a turn. Now for Stephen, he's giving you from his perspective, and you guys get the advantage of getting everybody's perspective firsthand, because we all know how we felt. And so as parents, we're looking at a full ride that was taking place. They didn't have to worry about schooling whatsoever, and that was missed because I'm not sure, and I'm not going to make a move. It's not your life, Robert. So I said, okay. I went to Stephen. I will never forget this, and we're starting right now the state playoffs. And this is what I said to my son. Now, guys, it's more went to this because he kept speaking this thing into existence. He wrote it on his mirror. He had these things, wrote out his vision. He made it plain. He kept saying it. He put in the work. And so I remember going to him, and I will never forget this. This right here, guys, is key. Because in my heart, this was a father expressing to his son, I need help.
Yeah.
I need help. And the son, for the first time, who was always looked up to his father, saying, now, my dad is dependent on me. The one that I have carried, the one that has carried me his whole life, that rock that has been there for me, everything. He is now looking me in my eyes with all sincerity and saying, I need you. What's the chances of him failing, people? Man, dude number 2 came through clutch. So this is what I said to him, guys, because I can remember, because I was there. So this is what I said to him.
I was there too. A whole lot of stuff now I remember.
But this is what I said to him. I said this to him. I'll never forget. I said, son, I need to talk to you. And I was serious as can be. Because we're looking at, now we're in the playoffs, and nothing has come through the door. Nothing.
And this is like about what month? January, February?
Yeah, I mean, this
February.
Now we're into 2020.
Yeah, and you're looking at a few games before the season is over.
Right.
Winner, loser.
Yeah, and so it was win, you go home, lose, you go home. And so that's it. And so I looked him in his eyes. I said, son, let me talk to you for a second. And I was serious, guys, and I was kind of nervous and scared at the same time, because I understood the implications of what was at stake. And the heavy weight that was on me was, the door was open. You should have took it right then, and there was a lock through it. So all these things going through my mind, and I said to him, I said, Steve, I said, I need you, man. Dad needs you really bad. This is what I need from you. And I need to know, son, I need you to understand how serious this is, but this is what I need. First and foremost, you can't lose. You can't lose, because if you lose, nothing else I'm saying matters, because you can't do any of it. So one, you can't lose.
The pressure.
And then two, I said, I need you to average 20 points. And I need you, what was it, 20 points and some assists. I was laying down some things, some markers that he had hit. And I was like, and if you can't get 20 points per game, we still got to win. We can try to make it up next game if we fall short. And I looked him in his eyes. I said, son, do you understand what I'm saying? He said, yeah, Dad, I do. I said, can I depend on you? He said, I got you, Dad. I got you. And then we went in. Boy, we went in from there. Because, he went in. And every game, you know, I'm sitting there. I mean, because it's the playoffs. They sitting the best of the best. And by him being the team captain and the #1 player on the team. But also, there was a guy on the team, the big man. And here's the thing about the big man. He has college scholarships from every #1 division school in the United States. He had a division, but it was football. It was football. So he had scholars, every school, every major football school in the United States was at his school for this kid. They was hounding him like a bee was on honey.
I'm sure they were. Any school you think of, he had an offer.
Every school, every D1 school, every D1 school. And so, so I'm sitting there looking at this. So my thing was, this guy, he had his own agenda. He had to not get hurt. So basketball, they didn't want him playing that anyway. You don't need to be playing this anyway. You need to be, you know. And so all this was going through. And so I found myself many times talking to Stephen, but also talking to this guy. You know, encouraging him, because he could have just blanked out and said, you know, I'm not with this at all, which leaves Stephen there. And so when I told him that, I said, when we was looking at this, I looked at Steve. I said, okay, Steve, can you do that for me, man? He said, yeah, Dad, I can. And there we took off with, and so you got to go through all of this. You got to go through, let me be diplomatic in what I say here.
Be diplomatic, baby.
Okay, questionable referees. A school that a lot of places didn't like, so they put a target on their back because they were known for winning championships. So you know, they really went through a whole lot. A lower end school that a lot of challenges went after. So with all of that said and done, I said to Stephen, and he looks at me and says, Dad, he said, yeah, I got you, Dad. With such confidence, he said to me, and for the first time, it's like the script flipped. It was him always leaning on his dad that was the rock and will be there for him. He went in the bedroom. That was the rock. And now all of a sudden, it's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do, nothing I can say. I had no authority, no power. There's nothing I can do. So with that said, nothing I could do, I left it all up to him. Now, what I didn't know from him, what was your mindset during this whole thing from here? Because now, remember guys, from this point on, I'm only left to my voice yelling out and screaming for him, encouraging him and pushing him on the court. Rest of it is him. It's all him.
Yeah. For me, it was weird. So when playoffs came, like Dad said, it was either if you win, you keep playing. If you lose, you go home. Season over with. So like I'm in a position, like we're all in a position where, okay, if we lose, look, well, the more you win, the more like college scouts are gonna pay attention to you and find ways to get out to your games because you're winning. So I'm like, okay, and it was weird because it's like my senior year, like when playoffs came, it was, and then like to put in even more perspective, the game before that was a conference championship, and again, like Dad was saying, be diplomatic, questionable referees. For the conference championship game, at the end of the third quarter, we were up by 21 points. We were literally up by 21 points. We lost that game. And I'm like, I am crying. I'm mad, and like I have to go up and like get these awards. I don't want the awards. I don't want no second place awards. I don't want any of that. Like Dad had to like make me get up to get, because I was gonna sit on the bench the whole time, and I'm like, yo, like I don't want those awards. Like I don't want them. But Dad, like he like, this feeling you feeling right now, like make sure you don't feel it again. So I'm just like, okay. So when playoffs came, it's like,
hold on, let me interject there. But guys, something was just said, what he said there, because I forgot the conference championship, 21 points. They blowing this team out the water, and like 9-3-1s in a row. Really? So they lose this game, but there was this other kid that was well known and he got the championship. But I wanted to go congratulate him.
Yeah.
Go. He had nothing to do with what they did. He just played his game. But the point that I was making was when I hugged my son right there in front of everybody, because it was clear to see he was crushed totally. But when I hugged him, I told him, "It's okay, son. We okay." You know, I'm just sitting his head. But what said a lot to me was there were some people sitting and watching, and how they came up to him and said, "You know what? His character spoke for itself in the mix of it. It didn't go the way he wanted to go. We couldn't control some of the stuff that happened, but he went up and he congratulated this guy, gave him his congratulations, and he handled himself professionally, if you would, or he handled himself with great sportsmanship." Right. And so they was looking at that. So back to what he was saying. So I'm telling him, he's telling me, well, I'm telling him, son, I want you to soak this feeling in. I want you to marinate in this feeling, because what I need you to understand is this is what it will feel like, or worse, to be here again.
And then the year before that, we were favorites to win the state championship, and we lost in the third round, and it just crushed everybody. So I'm like, okay, I don't want that. I don't want that feeling again, and I can't let my family and like my team, and I can't let the school and everybody else down. So when playoffs came, it's like a flip just switched, like a switch. My fault. It felt like a switch flip. I said a flip just switched. It felt like a switch flip. Like I was in like this zone where like I wasn't even talking at home. Like I would just come home, I would work out, I would eat, and I would just like go to my room, just be in my own space. Cause it's like I'm so locked in on this championship, because like that's the main goal. Beginning of the year, like that's the main goal. So it's like even in school, like I'm barely participating in class. That's not like I pride myself on participating in class. Like I'm telling my teachers like, hey, like it's playoffs right now. Like I'm in a different zone. Like I'm gonna do my work, of course. I'm participate for sure, but like it's not gonna be as much as it usually is, because I'm just in this different type of zone right now. So for me, like what Dad was saying, when he was like his point of view, my point of view was, this is my hero right here. Like this is the guy who, if I ever need anything, I can go to him and talk to him, and like he'll figure out a way to get it done. And like he'll figure out a way to get it done. He's strong when he's doing it. I can depend on him. So now I'm like, okay, he need me. Whoa. Like I'm 18, 17 years old, and like my dad needs me. And then too, like what makes it better is like with the other decision with the other school, like of course I was waiting on him, but I didn't want to beat him up about that, because he was already beating himself up enough. And it's like I didn't want to make that worse, because I knew he was feeling it, and I knew he was like kind of eating away. That decision was eating away at him, especially like with the tension that was going on. So I was like, I'm not going to beat him up even more about that. So I wasn't even like pressed about that anymore. So my thing was just like, all right, cool, he need me, I got him. Simple as that. So when playoffs came, like the first game was like a blowout. We won like 70 to like 30 something. Second game makes it even better. The second game, we played the team that we lost to in the conference championship. Blew them out. Blew them out. So we played them, and like that feeling that I marinated in came back when we played them again. I was like, oh yeah, we got to get them. Boom, so we won that game. So the third round is when it gets interesting.
Cool.
The third round, which is your birthday too. The third round is when it gets interesting. Yeah, Dad's birthday. The third round, that's when, I think that was our, no. The third round, that wasn't your birthday, that was the fourth round. The third round was a Saturday game, great game, played well, we won that game. So like I said, with me, it's like, with these games, like after we win, like I'm not celebrating, I'm not jumping around, like all right, next game. I'm locked in on the next game, simple as that. Like I'm ready to get in the gym, to work out, I'm ready to do all that, let's go next game. So the third game, fun, we won by like 20, great. Fourth game, that was his birthday. Oh my gosh.
Let me just say before you tell you about the fourth game, let me tell you what don't took place in this game, people. So we at this college, and I know this may be long.
That's the fifth game.
That's the fifth game.
Yeah.
What was the fourth game?
The fourth game, the blue team, the triple double game.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So that was Dad's birthday. So that was fun. Cool. We get that game over with. We win that one by like 20 as well. Now the game that he's talking about, the fifth game.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Dogfight.
When I say dog, so guys, we
fight.
look at this team now. Mind you, this is the semifinals. whoever wins this goes to the championship. And so we look at this team, and you got people, everybody traveling in from out of town that was at this college that was held.
Before you talk, a quick thing. My coach, he called me in his room a few days before the game. He's like, I'm not. He just told just me. He's like, I'm not gonna show film to the team. I'm like, hold on, what you mean you're not showing film? He's like, I'm not doing that. I was like, why not? He's like, because if they look at this team and see who we playing, he was like, they mindset not gonna be right. Because with this team we're playing, everybody, if you look at my team and their team, oh, my team gonna blow them out. Like, we don't even take these guys serious. He's like, if they look at this team, they're not gonna take them serious, and we're gonna lose. He's like, so I'm not gonna show them the film. So
and that's what I was referring to. You saw this team, man. So our team.
Did you look?
I looked at it with him.
Our team, you're looking at guys 6'6". You look at big guys, and these guys, you can tell they're athletes. You can tell they just built athletes. Man, we looked at this team that they had to play, and we're sitting there looking. I'm like, is this just the third streamers that's out there trying to play around, and they're waiting for their team to come out? And I'm sitting here looking. There was one guy with glasses on. I called him Clark Kent. He had another guy.
He was giving us trouble,
I mean, you look like this other guy. Man, let me tell you something. It was jump ball. Clark Kent took them glasses off. And Superman, we was the whole way through. We was screaming and yelling.
Before the game, my team is stretching. We out there first. We stretching. We chilling. We talking. They walk out. My team look at them. They like, that's who we playing?
Oh my God.
Oh, we finna win. Hey man, you know 20 points. I was like, oh, we in trouble.
Man, y'all don't understand.
You in trouble.
I wish, man, can you go see that game?
I'm glad he didn't show that film. We were in trouble when they said, listen, dogfight.
When I say Clark Kent took them glasses off,
oh man, I'm like, bro.
The big boy they had in the middle, he didn't have no kind of physique about himself. He just looked like some flesh.
He had
he
had at least 25.
Man, he was giving the business to us, man. Oh my! And this guy was he was schooled because he would do something with the referees wouldn't see it. All the parents on the sideline yelling and screaming. He don't did this. This guy walks up like he don't know what's going on. Look at the sideline and wink at us. I mean, he was just a veteran at what he did, guys. It was, but that way it was. But the thing they were saying, whip that game. It was all the way down to the last few minutes.
And my mindset was like, because we didn't have a shot clock, so my mindset was get up by 4 to 6 points and just stall the ball. Because then they're gonna have to foul us and they get to sit free throw line. So I was like, just get up by 4 or 6 and just hold the ball as long as we can. And if the opportunity presents itself, they'll score. And all of this, guys, trust me, we got a lot of lines out there, but we're gonna tie it all up until the question was asked about athletic scholarship. And so,
if they still watch?
Yeah, if you still watch. But see, guys, what took place was, with all of that, but finally, the game came over, but I would never forget, it was when that clock went off. That clock went off, I was so relieved because I knew we was in the championship game, and I'm sitting here, I'm running around, I can't even think until I locked into Steven's eyes, and he's looking at me, and he said, "Dad, I got you there." And we ran and just hugged each other. Now, guys, I got pictures of this. I don't know if Donna can put these up, but I have pictures of it. And so, but it was, to do that. That's where it was, and that's where, guys, we went into, that's when the pandemic hit.
Even before that, though, with that game, I remember, it's two things I vividly remember about that game, two specific things. One thing, it was in the middle game, it was like a clutch, it was like a tight moment, and I made a pass, and it was my fault, because I should have, KYP, know your personnel, that's what coaches always say, and I shouldn't have made that pass, so that was my fault. And I remember it was a turnover, and Dad he went off with me. No, so you just thought, and I just looked at him like I kind of because I'm in the moment, I kind of like snap back. I didn't mean to, but I kind of snapped back at him a little bit. So I'm like, relax, like I got you, chill. Like I'm like, chill, Dad, like relax, I got you. So I remember that, but I remember at the end of the game when Dad was talking about, he was when the buzzer went off. I remember everybody was running on the court, everybody jumping around, and I'm like running. I'm like, only thing I think of is where's my dad? Where's my dad? And I finally see him, and I run to him. Like I said, I was like, Dad, I got you. And I hugged him, and I vividly remember he was like, I love you, son. I remember him saying that, and like just hearing that, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, whew, okay.
That was because really every bit of my pressure I put on him, and he came through clutch for me. He came through clutch. And so at this time, guys, we excited championship game, but that was the time in 2020
when the bottom fell out.
When everything just everything just stopped. Everything just stopped. So championship game, they called it.
Yes.
They said.
So that week of the championship game, like we were every day. It was that Saturday to the 13th. It was Saturday that Saturday the 13th. That was the day of the championship game. So that whole week we're leading up to it, we're preparing, practicing, all that. So I would say about Thursday-ish. About like Tuesday or Wednesday, everybody kind of introduced the topic of like, y'all know what's going on. So I'm like, okay, cool, all right. So about Thursday, my coach, like he calls us into his office. He was like, yeah, like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what they're saying. When I get some more information about it, like I'll let y'all know. So kind of just fill us in. So we're like, okay, cool. We left. He called us back in there like a few minutes later. He's like, okay, so now because of what's going on, now it's limited fans. So you don't gonna have like we only give you a certain amount of tickets. You can have a few fans, like your family, immediate family. That's the only people that can come, or just like a few fans. And he called us back. He's like, okay, like now it's just immediate family, like nobody else, just them. We left, came back. He's like, yeah, they just decided it's like just cancel the game. So that whole day, it's just the whirlwind. Like, what are we gonna do? We just going back and forth to his office all day, just figuring out what we're gonna do. And then they just finally canceled it. And like we were just all just crushed, especially me. Like we were crushed, cause I'm like, okay, like now what? Like that's what I've been working every day for, just that moment. Like that's what I've been preparing for. This is a goal of mine. Like now it's just like stripped away. So like now what?
And so that's what they have, co-champions?
Yeah, so they ended up doing co-champions. And it's funny because a guy at school now that I play basketball with, his team was in the state championship. So one of my teammates, we would have ended up playing his team in high school in the state championship, but because of what happened, they just did co-champions.
And it's amazing. So I said all that, guys, to say this. Now remember how this started with the tension in the house because the decision was not made. But how did this school come up to Stephen? They wasn't even on the radar. There was nothing. How did this happen?
I think he ended up, all I know is he ended up calling us, was it upstairs? Did you call us upstairs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so one of the coaches, like me and him had been in contact a little bit, but one of the assistants, like throughout the season.
You just didn't tell us?
Yeah, we talked about it for a little bit, but
okay.
Yeah, that was because the other school was there too. So
okay.
But one of the coaches, like he contacted me like the week of and all that, and like I said, we didn't really talk too much, but like the week of he contacted me. He was like, hey, like our head coach is gonna call you. So I was like, okay, like I think this means what I think it means. Because usually, like if you're recruiting, just the assistant usually talks to you, like the scouters and the recruiters and all that. So then he ended up calling me that the day of the state championship game, the day we're supposed to play it. And
was it the day?
The Saturday?
No. It was the Thursday.
Before.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. So he ended up, they called me, they talked for a little bit, and they ended up offering me a full scholarship. And because of what was going on, he said that I was the first person that they had ever offered over the phone because they had to. They didn't have a choice. Yeah, so
we never did this before.
Yeah. So he was saying that because of what was going on, I was the first person that they had ever offered over the phone. But like I said, they just came out of nowhere, and then that's when that's when I just felt relieved because I'm like, boom, like my trust in God just showed. He just showed he showed out at that time. So I'm like, yo. And I remember too, like early in the season when I got the first offer, I was super excited about it. And my assistant coach, he's like, well, on such and such. And I was like, okay. And when he said that, such and such was the school that had offered me over the phone.
Yeah, so those are the things that you're looking at, guys, with all of that. And I'll never forget when he told us, we have never done this before. you're the first person we ever made a full offer over the telephone.
Did we talk?
And what we say, well, we have never done this before. So we're the first people that say yes.
We accept. Hey, I call my coach. Like, hey, yo, yeah, we're accepting today. All right, that's what we're gonna do. Okay.
And it was.
Not wait on this one.
And it was great. And it was. And at this time, where did all the pictures come from? They had all these pictures of him in the uniform, and they had Photoshop everything. So it was an incredible thing.
The social media was blowing.
Yeah, it was just
up.
complete, and you just saw everybody
in
calling.
your uniform where it said committed.
Yeah, and it was these other things. It was great. So this.
And the crazy thing about it was in the middle of what we were experiencing in our world. And then it's like out of nowhere, he gets this call,
out of nowhere.
and God shows up big time. It's like, I think, were you in the room and then you called me upstairs and said, Mom, you just gotta what? Blame it from where? And then we're talking about Queen's University, an hour and 15 minutes away.
And
What?
and we got
And when you saw the campus, we was like, whoa.
We have family in Charlotte. Oh my goodness. He's at Queens College. I graduated from King's College. I mean, this was just crazy.
Yeah.
And what you looked at in the midst of all of this, guys, I just want to reiterate this.
Listen.
For that roller coaster, and it was. So I'm saying to everybody that's out there, with your kids, be it academics, athletics, it's going to be a roller coaster. Only thing you can do is do your all, but you can't determine. We never saw what was coming on the world. We never saw that. Those were things that's totally out of our control. Some things that we had in our control because of the decision wasn't made then, and it was just there. And it could have been a great fight in the house, or great tension in the house.
So, shout out to Miss Teresa Sweat. Teresa Sweat, if you're still watching. I didn't realize we were going to go here, and I didn't think we would do this soon, but he came home again unexpectedly. So Teresa had the question about athletic scholarships and how that works, and so hopefully you're still watching, Teresa. Maybe, I don't know if you have sons, daughters. I think you may have said son. Did you say son?
I think so.
Maybe they watched this video too and just kind of got some good information. But hopefully this has helped and sort of kind of answered your question. But I can also say our coach, shout out to Coach Gould, and his staff, Coach Hop,
Coach Hop, yep,
Coach Higgs,
Higgs,
the other coach,
Tibbs,
Coach who went to the other school, tall coach.
Well,
Phillips.
Coach Phillips,
Phillips, So these guys, it was incredible.
Shout out definitely to the coaching staff. Definitely made all the difference in the world. I'm gonna tell you the type of connections that our head coach Gould had, even when Stephen first started playing. And it was during the summertime before school had started, right? Y'all were doing those games like at the Y. What were those games called?
Just like scrimmages.
Little scrimmage games. And the first time, was it your first game? The scrimmage?
Our first scrimmage.
Our first scrimmage. And he was out there playing, and what is it, hyperextended?
Then, no, the first time I hurt my knee.
The first time he had his injury, when he went down on the court, I look across.
We'll have a revelation.
Say what? I look across the court, and his coach is on the phone, and coach ends up calling me. In the meantime, they've gotten Stephen off the court. Coach ends up calling me over there, and I'm like, yeah, coach. He's telling me Stephen has an appointment, where the appointment is, and what time the appointment was, and who the doctor was. So he was actually on the phone with a doctor who's also a surgeon, and this is the doctor that all of his players goes to. I mean, he's just as serious about it. The player, you can't go just don't anybody. He has a specific doctor that the players go to, and he had already made his appointment. I just needed to have him there. They worked him in, and not only when we got back there for the appointment, coach calls me and like, okay, where y'all at? I'm like, coach, we're at the appointment. He said, where? I said, at the appointment that you told us to go to. He said, where at? The coach was there at the doctor's office and was trying to find us in the room. So he's that kind of coach. He is no joke. So he has the doctors, the surgeons, anybody that he needs, they are in his phone, and he can call them at the drop of a dime. So the coach definitely matters, and we appreciate everything that Coach Gould did
Fam.
make
Family,
this,
yeah.
for
So-
the family.
So let me ask you, if you could sum this up and put it in 30 seconds to a minute to what would be needed for an athletic scholarship, what would you say?
So I would say your grades, of course, coaches, school, AAU, and just the work ethic. Just having that work ethic.
And that AAU, y'all.
Yeah, that matters.
Get ready.
it's an investment. When I tell you, my husband and I, we traveled and and if Daddy couldn't go, because I was pretty much with him, there had to be a very, very serious reason why I couldn't go. But for the most part, I was with him on 99.9% of his AAU trips. I mean, we traveled.
You were at 100. Because the freshman team, we had to have a parent or like a guardian with us. We had to. We couldn't go. But I think it was like 15. We couldn't go by ourselves. So Mom, you had to be at every tournament.
All of them.
Yeah, you had to be at every
And
tournament.
it became very pricey, but it's an investment. And we believed in him. We knew what we had in him, what he had in him. So we cultured that and cultivated that, and just we were on the road. I mean, it was pretty much every weekend, game after game, hotel after hotel, and just food, and they ate some more.
And he could go into another thing when he went on his own AAU and he learned the value of $1. Cup noodles was his friend. So
they didn't tax in that state. Let's just say that.
So the thing, let me say this: the really guys, the importance of that AAU.
Ooh, yeah, we so
you need to understand what this AAU thing. The AAU, you needed to know, coaches. Why would a coach come to your team, come to your school to see a game with you when you playing against less qualified kids? And AAU is nothing but the best of the best of the best all day long. So everything is a dogfight. So a lot of these scouts and coaches would just go to the AAU games because they can see the best of everything right then.
That's right. One-stop shop.
And it's the summertime, so it's one-stop shopping. So you got everything that's anything in the gym. So they just looking at games all day. If you're gonna shine, that's the time you turn your light on right there. And so that worked out for us right there. Guys, I'm tired. This has been a long, I don't know how many decades.
Oh my goodness.
We are so sorry. We just went on a tangent.
We were supposed to be talking about care packages and gift bags.
But from the question from Miss Sweat. That's your answer. It's going to put in some work. AAU, coaches, those are the type of things you're going to need. And just a lot of prayer.
Keep them grades, definitely prayer.
And a lot of prayer, because it's going to be, I'm telling you, we cannot stress enough, guys, the tension that was in the house and everything that was going on during that time, the emotional roller coaster. And when we finally got that call, and it's like, and with the visit, and when we finally, like when he got there to the school the first time, and to be able to see the facilities and be able to see everything, now it's his second home. Remember?
That was the first time, because what we were in, the first time that we went there was when we had to move in to start college. We first started in June, but we started again October 1st on her birthday, which is when we moved in. Y'all remember that video?
That's when we had to. He grew up and we had to let him go.
Yeah,
she was crying like a doggone little cry baby.
I was crying like a cry
I was strong.
I know that. I was
very
That's
strong.
all right. You were prepared. You had food and you had supplies. You had.
Side note. I just like the laundry basket that she sent me for my first year.
The laundry detergent.
What she said, I just finished that like a month ago. From 2020, I just finished.
So
like
it lasted you about 3 years.
Yes.
Good job, Mom. Good job. Wait a minute, no. You're not just gonna get up and leave after all that run off and down y'all been doing. We appreciate you guys for watching. For those that made it to the end of this video, I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I can definitely say it's been one of our longest videos. Hopefully we did not bore you all too much. But yeah, depending on how long it is, I might do a part 1 and a part 2. I think that's what I need to do, and let them just thug it out and just watch it.
Depends on how long it is.
You gonna share it out? So leave them on the cliffhanger. Oh, okay. So it might be in 2 parts, you guys. But we appreciate you all for watching. If you've not subscribed, please consider doing so. Turning on that notification bell. And what's that word?
Hit the nose.
Y'all got me sitting here looking all like I need to go do something in my head. But thank you guys so much for watching. We already look forward to you joining us again
Next time.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.